Welcome to our new Parks on the Air activators and some of our new hunters who may not understand what I'm going to talk about. This is NC4XL, North Carolina, for extreme lovers. Oh, I'm not. Just Dom, darling old man. Here lately with the solar events, we'll call them, going on, a lot of folks find themselves like, what band do I go on under these circumstances? First lesson or opinion or scenario is we don't control propagation, period. We get to play with it. But for you activators going out, take a few moments and to go on Google and look up gray line map and try to see the ups and down swings of the cycle. Wherever you're at, okay, where you live at, not where I'm at. And just take a look at how that what you're seeing is also involved in propagation. Second thing to think about is if you're new to activating a park, being on the wrong band at the wrong time creates a lot of wrong contacts. In other words, they just don't happen. And that takes some experience in learning and listening to other old timers and things like that, really. If you go out with a 20 meter or 40 meter whip, thinking you're going to make a lot of contacts, all depends on what time of day and propagation. We're going to give you an example here, and I know this from personal friends that have traveled from the East Coast to the West Coast, and contacts that are over on the West Coast, we'll say like Tim, Whiskey Italy 6 November Golf, who will tell you that 40 meters at their AM time in the morning, not East Coast time, but West Coast time AM in the morning, is full of foreign broadcast. And that type of scenario, making it very difficult. If we talk with Jeremy over in Alaska, when we had CUSA with him, one of the things that he'll share is that 40 meters is not like what we have here in the States early in the morning time because of propagation. So as an activator, try not to limit yourself to one hamstick or one band scenario. By that I mean either a drive-on mount to throw an end-fed up, or put your Wolf River coil up, or put your TDL up, your Chameleon TDL. 20 meters is pretty much, I'm going to use East Coast time, East Coast scenario. 20 meters is good, 10 o'clock in the morning on and off all day. 40 meters on the East Coast is good from, I'll put this in UTC time, 1100 UTC on the East Coast. That's here from Florida up to Maine and Vermont. It's good up until about 1400 UTC, and then everything sort of changes. Oh, that's on a good day, propagation-wise. Propagation we don't get to control, we get to play with. So as a new activator, if you limit yourself to a one hamstick, one band, you're going to find yourself frustrated. And it's okay to be frustrated because you have a couple strikes against you. So always have an opportunity to go to the two heavy bands, or 20 and 40. A lot of young activators fail to go to 17 or 15 or 12 or 10 and try it. If you're able to spot yourself on the page and go to 15, 17, and 10 and 12, and don't go there for 2 or 3 minutes and don't hear nothing. Give it some time, because a lot of folks on the spotting page may start at the top at 7 megahertz and work their way down to 28 megahertz, and they're looking at every activator who's spotted and they're trying to work them all. Well, you're down in that list, especially if you're on 21 megahertz or 28 megahertz or even 6 meters, 50.125, the calling frequency. Many times the bands not necessarily are dead. It's just that we, as activators, may have failed to spot ourselves and go try. We're expecting the same activity level that 20 or 40 will give us. Going back to my earlier statement, if you only got 2 antennas or 1 antenna, you're sort of limiting your opportunities. Propagation is a crazy subject. And so far, I've been talking mainly about the activators going out because they're so dependent on it. Your fixed stations may have rotatable antennas, may have an excessive amount of power that they can use for ground wave contacts, and that's good on 40 meters. On one last note, that's my little blip on propagation, but activators, please, please, please think about this when you're out. If you have a 40 meter dipole, a 40 meter end-fed, a 40 meter ham stick, don't forget to go to 40 meters more than once. Don't forget to try it more than once, because there's a lot of local stations that will be looking for you. And with the propagation changing and gray line changing, they couldn't hear you when you were first there, but they can hear you now. And keep that in mind. That's why if anybody follows how I operate, I usually run 20 and 40 twice when I'm out on an activation, but I'm not a hit and get. I like to sit for 3 or 4 hours, so that's easier for me. But you new activators that are out there, don't think that you run the band once and that's it. The weather has changed. It was 78 when you went out this morning. It's 103. The weather's changed. Propagation changes. Have fun out there. Enjoy what you do. Remember, amateur radio is a fun hobby to go out and communicate around the world. Hope to hear you soon. NC4XL, North Carolina for Extreme Lover. I'll shut up for now. 73s.